I think being Asian American makes me awesome. Awesome! Is that better? Is that louder?
Growing up, my household had two different cultures. My mom is from the Philippines, so we had a very sort of traditional Filipino upbringing mixed with my dad's culture and background, and he was sort of a third culture kid and grew up in the States as well as Europe. So it was different from a lot of my friends who had parents who were from the same country and culture, and they had a very strong sense of identity. And my sister and I were kind of very confused about who we were and what to identify ourselves as. And I think growing up, we're still trying to figure out like what that is and who we are, and how being mixed shapes our identity. But I think when we were younger, we were really confused because a lot of people would ask, what are you? And we'd always have to kind of think about it because, like we weren't sure ourselves. So we're really happy to like continue on this journey to kind of figure out who we are.
Well, growing up, I grew up I'm from Southern California, and I'm specifically from Irvine, which I'm sure, as a lot of people know, has a lot of Asian Americans that live there. And so throughout my whole entire life, I've always been a part of an Asian American community. And so I guess my first experience of being really aware of my own Asian American identity was actually coming here to Bryn Mawr. And I realized, wow, like I look different and my culture is different. And to be honest, when I first got here, I felt like an outsider. I felt really left out, and I was even called, towards the beginning of the school year, a token Asian in my group of friends, because I was the only Asian in my group. And that comment was a big culture shock for me, and it made me more self-aware of who I am. And at that moment in time, I really didn't feel good about who I was. But I think it also helped me to grow as a person and realize, wait, I'm actually really proud of who I am and where I've come from and what my culture is and the fact that I'm Asian American.
I think I've always been proud of being Asian American. I didn't really know about it until I moved back to Taiwan, where like my high school was full of Asian Americans. And then I think I always identified myself as an Asian American.
When I was younger, I lived in Illinois for a few years, and most of my friends were white. And one day at school, they started doing this squinty eye thing, and then I went home and did it, and my parents yelled at me, but they wouldn't tell me why it was a bad thing to do.
I think being an Asian American is like really a self-identity. It's not like, oh, you're Asian, then you're American, then you're Asian American. It's what you identify yourself.